Hey guys, Lancy here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining me. We're looking to some more MTG market movers for the week. Now, I'm going to compare this with what's happening on EDH Rec because it does help keep track of which cards are moving and pretty much what commander deck they're in, because that's actually one of the biggest reasons for things to move other than reserve list cards and or just what's been played in standard, which apparently is just Goldspan Dragon. So moving on, starting with Winter Blast from Legends. So not on the reserve list, but it is a very old card. Gotten plenty of other printings, Renaissance, 4th edition, 5th edition, but this one's old and blackboarded. It was sitting around about, what was that, $41 on average, but that spiked up, and now it's sitting around about $98. You can get them from TCG Player for 23, but if you want to get one of the probably higher quality cards because of the fact that it's Legends, you're going to probably have to fork out quite a bit more. As for the card itself, it's okay. I'm pretty sure I must have reviewed this at some point because it started off with a price point of like $10, and I'm pretty sure I stopped after about like the $15 mark. So certainly at some point it might have been something on my radar, but it has long since jumped out of that range. And you can see that it was flatlining for the longest time, $2.60. If you got this card at $2.60, you're laughing right now. Guild Pact Informant from War of the Spark. So this card I actually just did a quick look up. It is and possibly could be continuing to move because one of the commander that it is in is Toxrill Corrosive. So there's a chance that this card could keep moving, but we'll have to see where it ends up. This was not on anyone's radar just a couple of days ago. So now for it to pick up and move past $2 when it was just a couple of cents a while back, it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up. Next, Ritual of the Machines from Alliance. So once again, this is probably something interesting. A pattern that we're seeing is buyouts for certain cards and then a slowly sell back into the market. Mostly just what Rudy would call scalping. So it looks like it's happened again. We might reach the $20 mark, and then whoever bought this out might slowly let this sink back in while he sells at a profit. Now, reserve list cards are going to continue doing this until the market realizes that no one's going to buy these. And I am not too sure if that we have reached that point yet. The last couple of years, or at least the last year, has shown us that a lot of people don't value, I guess, money as what it is because of the government's printing of it, which means that a lot of these secondary markets for collectibles have gone up pretty much straight up. And that probably can't last, especially if the government's worried about inflation, which we will talk about at the end of this segment. As for now, card moving up to $20. We'll have to see where that ends up. TCG Player says you can get it for $10. Dust to Dust from 5th edition. 1 colorless, 2 white for a sorcery to remove 2 target artifacts from the game. Pretty decent. 50 cents a couple of weeks ago. Now sitting around about the $4 mark. $2.23 on TCG Player, not a reserve list card. One other printing from the Dark, which is way more expensive at $7. But, if you're going to get this card, the Dark, for $7 is probably a better value than a 5th edition for $2. The age difference might not be too much, but it's just that everyone knows that the Dark is an older set and it's got black border, but value comes from where people think it is. Talisman of Indulgence, very consistently climbing talisman. They haven't printed these in a while, sitting at $2.30 on TCG. Pretty much everything else is sitting around the $6 marks, so TCG is very cheap right now. If that's $2.50 for a good quality one. Mirrodin is $5.78. I just don't think that these are the kind of things that you'd want to buy in bulk and sit on. You never know when Wizards of the Coast is just going to release these in another commander set or something. Counterspell from Secret Lairs, pretty cool card. $2.20 on TCG, plenty of other printings. Depends on how cool you think it is. Hazezen Tamar from Legends. I'm pretty sure I covered this guy before. Had a low point in middle of 2020 at around about $100. Now sitting at about $316. $249 on TCG on the reserve list, making it quite a bit more popular, I guess. and he's actually not a bad card. It's kind of fun. Blasphemous Act from Commander. So this card has been reprinted so many times. People have picked up that $1.50 might be its bottom. Now it's starting to slowly climb back up. You can see that the rest of them are all sitting around about the $3 to $4 mark. So I'd expect this to move up to at least the $3 mark. TCG player sitting at $1.50. Goblin King from 10th edition, very consistent moving up. Actually, this is amazing. This is perfect moving up. I hope people that wanted to get this card got this card. Other goblin creatures get +1/+1 and have Mountain Walk. Okay, yeah, that's nothing too crazy. Sitting at $6.86 on TCG. It has had many printings, with some very expensive ones, but it's just, you just need it for a goblin deck. It's not legendary or anything. You just need it for a goblin deck. March of Souls from Plane Shift. Oh god, look at this spike. Straight up. 4 colorless, 1 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. They cannot be regenerated. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller puts a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the bat. I mean, there is plenty of spirit support now, so you as a player who has a spirit deck, I think I actually covered this in my review. The commander deck, the commander that is now cheaper to cast for every spirit that you have in play. This is a perfect card. Even if you have creatures out, that guy's going to make all of them much cheaper, make himself much cheaper when he comes into play next turn. Good card for him especially. Talisman of Dominance, another one just moving up, but once again, not something I'd buy out. Livonia Salon, pretty cool looking card from Legends, $70. That's funny. Reserve list, yes. So value, value $12 in June 2022, $117 right now. I don't know if you find value in that, but it really does depend on which quality you get it and how much you pay for it. And last one, Simic Signet from Secret Lairs. These ones are hard to predict exactly what they're going to do. We'll have to see how it goes in the next couple of weeks. Moving to I'll cover that after. MTG Goldfish, Vintage, biggest movers, Dark Pack moving up by 18%, but these things move very chaotically. Chaos are moving down by 25% to now sit at $1,649. That's an expensive card. Yeah, I actually don't think there's any point to cover these. They just move too spiky. So we'll just go straight to modern. Haunted Phantasm. And I just said that they move too spiky, but then this card has just gone up by 91% in 1 week, so now sitting at $7. Blinkmoth Infusion, 48% gain to now sit at $10. And Kira, Great Glass Spinner, a 25% gain to now sit at $12. Energy Explosive Zone there as well, but that card's always moving up or down based on modern itself. Solitude, drowned by 17%. What was the story for that one? I don't know. But that's a big drop, sitting at now $54. And Graven Cans, which had a massive spike up in the last couple of days, weeks, now dropping down by 21% to now sit at $20. Blood Moon as well, but Blood Moon did get a reprint in a Secret Lairs, so that could be the main reason for that. Moving to Pioneer, Guild Pact Informant, a 365% gain to now sit at $4. Yeah, people think it's useful. Sire of Stagnation, 24% gain to now sit at $8.83. Marvin Fiend Dusk Apostle, 22% gain to now sit at $3.81. That's actually a cool card. And the biggest drops, nothing that's over even 10%. Sliver High, Soren, Imperious Bloodlord, 6% drop, but nothing too crazy. Alright, cool. Let's have a look at the dual lands, and we can see flatlining to a bit of a droop coming in from Badlands. Actually revised, Bayou looks like it's actually just being bought out again, so that should be interesting to see. Savannah, flatlining. So it looks like overall, I'll just pick another one that's a bit more, should be a bit more active. Volcanic Island and Tropic. So Tropic Island is dropping, but we'll have to see what that means in the overall picture, because don't forget, as the big companies buy the smaller, I guess, individual sellers out, they're not going to lower the prices any more than they need to, especially if they think that they can sit on these forever. And after what just happened in the last 2 years, it's very rare that people are going to start selling these just because they're scared of a couple of days or weeks or months of a downtrend. Moving over to what's happening in the markets. So, interesting times. I think the next week or two is going to be very messy because the Federal Reserve in the US has to make a call on interest rates in the next week, pretty much, and they have to decide on if they think that inflation is going up or down or if it's transitory, even though they got rid of that word. So I am expecting them to probably come out and say everything looks a bit shaky, so we're not going to increase interest rates. We're going to continue doing our bond purchasing program, which is pretty much printing money, and that's probably going to cause everything to kind of jump straight up into the sky. The government, when it does its $1 trillion Build Back Better bill, we'll have to see what that happens, because if they actually get it through and it's above $1 trillion, that also could bounce the market up, and that could probably send card prices going up even more because of inflation. If that happens, then you can expect everything to be more expensive for the next couple of months, and certainly, as the Federal Reserve Chairman himself said, prices aren't going to come down. That's not what transitory meant in the past. Maybe it might change now, but we'll have to see how that goes. So if we look at the dollar, still showing strength. This is on the 1 hour, so I'll go back to the 1 day. Still showing plenty of strength. Funnily enough, it's actually moving up at the same time as it's reading a red RSI and dropping. So what am I expecting from this? I'm expecting a big move up, but right now it is showing a bit of indecisiveness, but it's got a lot of strength. If the Federal Reserve comes out in Thursday, I think it's Thursday this week, if they come out and say inflation's getting out of hand, we're going to stop all of our bond purchases and this month, and we're going to start increasing interest rates as early as start of January, or as early as we possibly can, but without damaging the markets. I'm expecting the dollar to probably go up to 98, maybe even 100. And gold will probably instantly drop all the way back to the 1700s for that. Poor Peter Schiff. Crypto, no idea. That one I thought was always based off the dollar, but it seems to be having a mind of its own. So Australian dollar probably a bit weaker. Inflation should drop, so the US 10-year should drop. And as for the markets themselves, if the dollar does spike up pretty significantly, and if the Federal Reserve does come out and say they're going to taper, then you can expect the market to probably throw a tantrum. If the Federal Reserve comes out and says, no, things still look a bit unusual and shaky, we're still looking for good employment numbers, then you can expect the market to probably go straight up to the moon. So we'll have to see how that goes by Thursday this week. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one. See ya.